On the backstretch, there is the 14. That's going to be one Tommy Lowry. Green flag in the air as we are on the hot lap clock here at Southern Raceway. Vintage drivers, you are on the track. You need to get to stop and go. If you want your hot lap session, open wheel modifieds, you are on deck. USCS 360 Outlaw Sprint Cars, you are on standby. Thank you. Looks like Chris Brown might have checked up as he takes the 23B off the track. There is the 02 Hunter Ward. There is Tommy Lowry in the 14. And there is the F5 Richard Clue. Tommy Lowry checking dear old Dad's rabbit traps on the backstretch. White flag in the air. There is the birthday boy, Don Hall in the 41, also known as the Social Security Special. Don has been racing here as long as I can remember at Southern Raceway, and this is his birthday day vintage race. There's Robin Christensen out on the track in the 7C. The Catholic Life Insurance machine. There is the Mean Green 7 machine. I thought that was Alec Alford. I apologize. There is the 19. That's William Tyrell. 65 of Bill Tyrell. 27 just flashed by the flag stand. There's Robin Christensen. William Tyrell in the 19. There is the 2. Two is going to be William Bartlett, Panama City, Florida. Trying to figure out who the 27 is. IMCA open wheel modified, not IMCA, just open wheel modified. You are up next. Open wheel modified, you are up next for hot laps. Sprint cars, USCS 360 Outlaw Sprint cars, you are on deck. Pure stock, you've moved up to standby. get you the name of our modified drivers as they are out here on the track. Hot lap session number 1. (27J) Joseph Phillips. He goes high and wide. There is the 1 car, Kelby Wright. Weiner, Arkansas is where Wright calls home. There is the 33 machine. That is being piloted by Nathan Ingersoll. Drake Finley, Bryant, Arkansas, in the 5F. Travis Denny, Sterling, Illinois. Hey, thank you for coming down from the land of Lincoln to join us tonight. Joseph Phillips in the 27. Slowing down just a little bit. Nice back on the gas. Kelby Wright in the 1 car. Kelby Wright's got an interesting teammate tonight, especially those of you tuning in on huntthefront.tv tonight. Let's see if number 2 makes an appearance. Feel like I'm getting ready to talk about Dr. Seuss. Thing 1 and thing 2. There is the 38 machine, Ronnie Roberts Jr. There is the Professor Jonathan Joyner in thing 2. There is the 5. That's going to be Edward Seitz. Crossing the flags, passing the flag stand right now. That's going to be the 46, Jade Lusenberg, Saucier, Mississippi. Ronnie Roberts Jr. out of Biloxi out there in the 38. Cars are picking up the pace. Jade Lusenberg, the Mississippi driver, in the white and black 46. 38, Ronnie Roberts Jr. out of Biloxi, Mississippi. The Professor Jonathan Joyner in the 2. Edward Seitz. Monroetonia, Pennsylvania, where he calls home. Jade Lusenberg takes the checkered flag to end this hot lap session. Chase Roseborough, West Branch, Michigan. out there in the 17R. Piloting the 57, that's going to be Robin Lashley. Todd Nieheiser out of Panama City in the 72. Ryan Fowler out of Pace, Florida in the 6. The pink numeral 6. Here comes the yellow 6. Excuse me, that's going to be the yellow 5. Bill Roberts Jr., Burlington, Iowa. Checkered flag in the air. We've got here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Group 1. This is going to be the cars in Heat Race 1 for the USCS 360 Outlaw Sprint Cars. The Good Doctor in the 28 out of Montgomery, Alabama. 28. I almost said the 29. That's going to be the 28 machine. That's going to be the Ripley Rooster, Jeff Willingham. Getting ready to get a push start. Here comes the USCS 2023 points leader. That's going to be the 28F. Don't panic, folks. It's Davey Franick. Getting ready to get push started. We have the 44 out on the track. That's going to be Chris Martin. The 14, that's going to be Jordan Mallett. The 33, Joe Larkin out of Suwanee, Georgia. Lance Moss, Cherryville, North Carolina in the 23. Strong run for him last night. And I believe way back there, just getting onto the track, is the Good Doctor out of Montgomery, Alabama, Kyle Emerson. Now, I used to tell a joke about him because Kyle was working to get finished his education in anesthesiology. But he changed his degree. He went from anesthesiology, or making money to pass gas, all the way now he's studying internal medicine. But he will always be known here as the Good Doctor. Casey Wills in the 31. Of course, there is something that I will wonder about and one day might have the guts to ask Kyle Emerson. Is his insurance hired to drive a race car or to be a doctor? Either profession could have some pretty high rates. The USCS officials are doing radio checks. These drivers use not only transponders, but they also have to have communication with race control in the tower, because you never know when there's an incident on the track. As fast as these cars move, these drivers must hear race control at all times. Jordan Mallett in the 14. The 33, that's going to be Joe Larkin, the Georgia driver. There's the good doctor out of Alabama. They're winding them up. We'll start getting some lap times for you shortly. The Ripley Rooster, 15.579. Kyle Amerson, the good doctor, he's already getting close to the 13-second range, 14.068. Chris Martin, second fastest, 14.099. Jordan Mallett, third fastest. Davey Franick moves up to the second spot, 14.068. Oh, Jordan Mallett in the 13-second zone, folks. 13.919 seconds. He's getting ready to take flight. Kyle Emerson, second fastest. Davey Franick, third fastest. Chris Martin in the fourth spot. Lance Moss, fifth fastest so far. Emerson, new fast time in this group, 13.916 seconds. That was his last lap. For heat hot lap group number one. That will also be heat one here on the track. By the way, when we get to the heat races, there's something very critical for these drivers, and that's called passing points. The USCS 360 Outlaw Sprints run passing points during their qualifying heats. Passing points to determine who starts where in the feature event. The car that passed the most cars is in the heat, or in his heat, will start further up than cars that don't pass. The heat race winners will not necessarily be the high point guys for the night. The top 6 cars in passing points will run in the dash. The finish of the dash will determine the top 6 starting spots for tonight's feature. So passing points are crucial. Getting ready for hot lap group number 2 for the USCS. Here comes Scott Baldwin in the 4X. The 95, Matt Covington out of Glenpool, Oklahoma. There's the Hall of Famer out of Chillicothe, Ohio in the 66. And it's going to be Danny Smith. Strong run for him last night. 55B, Brandon Anderson out there on the track. The 22 of Riley Goodnow. Hiding behind Riley Goodnow just a little bit, that is the 24 machine. Last night's winner, Terry McCarl out of Altoona, Iowa. The 12 car, Corbin Gurley, Hebron, Indiana. There's the 7E machine, Eric Gunderson out of Canton, Georgia. Eric Gunderson must not have been too pleased with his car's performance last night. He disassembled it, had it laying probably on every bed sheet he could find at the hotel. Working on the car, getting everything checked out. He's got it bolted together. So tonight, there will be surprises inside that motor possibly. We shall see. They're going to go green on Scott Baldwin in the 4X. He hits the gas. Oh, buddy. That puff of smoke did not look good from the back of that car. Did Scott give up the seat? Nope. Looks like it's got the smoke out of the system now. Thought maybe he put Martha Stewart behind the wheel after a visit to Snoop Dogg's house. Terry McCarl picking up where he left off last night. 15.047 seconds. Scott Baldwin getting his time in. Terry McCarl now has broken the 13-second barrier. Terry McCarl, 13.932. Matt Covington at 14.019. Corbin Gurley, Riley Goodnow, and Danny Smith. Brandon Anderson jumps up on the leaderboard, 14.056. But everybody's trying to beat the time set in this group so far by Tara McCarl. 13.932. Looks like we've got a yellow flag situation. That's going to be involving the 4X of Scott Baldwin. Terry McCarl. Terry McCarl, 13.932. The fastest in Group 2. Getting ready for Group 3 in the USCS 360 Outlaw Sprint Cars Hot Lap session. The man in this, there's one driver in this group that was oh so close. Speaking of oh so close, they're out there selling 50-50 tickets tonight. Tracy will be glad to help you get those. Somebody will walk away tonight, the lucky winner, of half the pot. Big hello to my friend Josh Novak, one of our big board sponsors on the backstretch at Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care, Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach. Great to see you out there. Also a big hello to Jake Moore, MC Equipment Services, another big board sponsor. Speaking of the big board, the man who owns the USCS t-shirts when it comes to the number of titles and his name on the back, and that is the 10, the Bartlett Bullet, Terry Gray. 95 wins so far in his USCS career, 14 national titles. Behind him is the 21M. That's going to be Adam Curry. In the Material Obsession machine, the 32, Rusty Sanford. There is the 21 on the track. That's going to be Gavin Boschel, Mooresville, North Carolina. It's where he calls home. There is the 43, Sunbury, Pennsylvania's Mark Smith, who finished second last night in what I would like to call the closest sprint car race I have ever seen here on the 3/8 mile dirt at Southern Raceway. Mark and Terry were running all over the track. One would go high, the other would go low. Then they would switch. It was a hotly contested event, and I expect no less tonight, but possibly a different result because the caution came out on 3 different occasions right as Mark Smith took the lead from Terry McCarl. So keep that in mind. That 43 machine is bad fast in the hands of Mark Smith, the winningest sprint car driver here at Southern Raceway. There is the 88 machine. That's going to be Terry Easom, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. There's the 21, Gavin Boschel. Terry Gray in the 10. They're doing radio checks right now. There is the 21. That is going to be Adam Cruey. The 32, Rusty Sanford. The 61, that's going to be Sean Wimpy. Waiting for all the drivers to give a thumbs up, thumbs down, that they can be heard here in the tower. Tommy Hall in the 2H. They're going to wind them up. Let's see if Mark Smith can break that 14-second barrier here in hot lap. Oh, Nelly, first lap out of the box, and surprises are inside. 13.74 seconds for the man from the Keystone State, Mark Smith. He might be Mr. Untouchable tonight. He's now down to 13.547. The next fastest car is over a half a second off the pace. Mark Smith seems to be a man on a mission. 13.547 seconds. I don't know if that's a new record or not, but if it's not a new record, it's pretty darn close. Checkered flag in the air. Mark Smith, he blistered the track with those Hoosiers. 13.54 seconds. fastest time of the session, which is group 3 for hot laps? And how about the fastest lap for all 24 entries tonight here in Milton, Florida? Belongs to the man from the Keystone State, Mark Smith. And the interesting part is that is a Mach 1 race car that he is piloting. And that car belongs to Terry Weatherspoon over in Jacksonville, Florida. Pure Stocks, you are up next. Late models, you are on deck. Bombers, you are in the standby spot. Pure Stock drivers getting ready to come to the track. Last night's winner in the Pure Stock was the pilot of the B-24 out of Milton, Florida, Owen Barnhill. Justin Adams was giving him what for until he had to drive off the track in the 1. Wow. I didn't think you could use PVC pipe on a race car. Might be. Ladies and gentlemen, I just learned some interesting information. Somebody found a butter knife on the track yesterday. I guess that is a wedge tool. I'm glad there are other things that weren't found at the track this weekend. I got it fixed. We'll get you taken care of. No problem. There must be a lot of pipe out there. He's just checking that track out everywhere. Here's a pipe, there's a pipe, everywhere a piece of pipe. The USCS official is found a plastic farm, EIEIO. Pure Stock's getting ready to come out onto the track for their hot lap session. There's the 0, Bubba Fletcher. The 3 of Jaden Presley. The 14 machine, Tommy Lowry. The 4, Mark Blackman. And the 13, Tyler Whitehurst out of Esto, Florida. Late models, you are on deck. Late models, you're on deck for hot laps. Bombers, you're on standby. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you here tonight at Southern Raceway, we thank you for coming out. We hope to have a very exciting show for you this evening. You got just a little glimpse of it with the USCS 360 Outlaw Sprint Cars and their hot lap session. Hearing reports that Tyler Whitehurst has a flat tire as cars are looking to go around him. Doesn't look like he's going to exit the track, so they're going to try to pass him on the high side here in Hot Laps in Milton, Florida. Those of you that are joining us through huntthefront.tv, we appreciate you tuning in now. Go to Southern Raceway's Facebook page, and you can check out our racing schedule for 2023. Come here and check out the action live in person. We would love to have you. Pure stock. Should be group number 2 coming out onto the track. Pure stock group number 2 coming out for their hot lap session. Late models, you're on deck. Late models, you're on deck. Bombers, you're in the standby spot. Here comes group number 2 for the pure stock. Here comes the 3 machine. That is going to be the car. Driven by Larry Falk, the shop teacher out of Monroeville, Alabama. Landon Harris in the 2. Coming off of turn 4 right now. That is going to be the 94, Terry Mayhair, out of the Baker contingent. Larry Falk slowing down. Looks like they might have had some problems in shop class this week. For those of you that hadn't heard of what Larry Falk does, he teaches shop, and he has his students learn about working on cars by working on some of his race cars, which is a great way to get an education if you want to work on an automobile for the rest of your life. Larry Falk taking the long ride back to the pits. There is Racer X. That's going to be Robert Wolf. The 57. That's going to be Carl Cordell out of Black, Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, as Group 2 of Pure Stock do hot laps, I was just given some information. I told you about how fast Mark Smith went. He is 0.05 of a second shy of setting a new sprint car record here in Milton, Florida tonight during hot laps. Not tenths, we're talking 0.05 of a second. That is flying around the dirt. Terry Mayhair leading them off turn 4 for hot laps, Robert Wolf. Then it's going to be the 2 of Landon Harris and the 57 of Carl Cordell. .602 Sportsman late model hot laps. We've got 9 entries so far. There is the 64, Ricky Gilmore. There's the 57. Some of you know him as Dale Lucas out of McKenzie, Alabama. The rest of his followers call him Kid Missile. Second generation driver. And if you get to look at that awesome paint scheme on that car, you'll see signs and tributes to dear old dad, Shep. In the 2, Brandon Harris. In the 01, that's going to be Tyler Webb. As we have hot lap group number 1. Bombers, you're on deck for hot laps. Bombers, you're on deck for hot laps. Brent Cartwright in the 77 looking good. Coming off turn number 4. There's the 724 Dakota Fox. Getting ready for Group 2, 602 Sportsman late models. There is the 4 machine. Colton Leindecker. There is the 56. Jonathan Joyner, the professor. Green flag in the air. Eric White, Cantonment, Florida, in the red 8 machine. Larry Yates in the 97. Bombers, I need you lined up at stop and go. Bombers, I need you lined up at stop and go. You are coming out next. Vintage drivers, I need you to start getting ready to make your way to stop and go. You will be the first heat out. Vintage drivers coming onto the track. There is Brady Hall in the 22. The 1, that's going to be Hunter Adams, Florala, Alabama. Destiny Yard in the 27. There's the 281, Layden Bailey. Shelly Yard in the 35. Vintage drivers, I need you to get lined up at stop and go. You are going to be the first heat races on the track tonight as we celebrate the birthday of Don Hall. I apologize. That was Trinity Yard in the 25, not the 35 of Shelley Yard. There is the 2, Ronnie Harris. The 0 of Billy Fletcher. 305, Mason Cassidy. The 35, Shelley Yard. The behind Billy Fletcher is the 22D of Devin Enfinger. Good run by Devin last night. Once again, vintage drivers. I need you at stop and go. Billy Fletcher going slow in the 0. Thank you. Once again, vintage drivers. There's going to be a bear in the woods with a Hoosier donut. Tire goes off the rim. Bear says, look what I found.